I'm Ashton Atts, I'm 21 years old, I'm a London-based artist. I do illustration, I'm a musician, and I'm a painter. From like a really early age, I was always actually quite interested in illustration, probably more than anything else. I was always kind of quite keen to capture sort of cartoons almost, make my own cartoons. I would say that illustration was the first thing that I was interested in artistically. For a long time, I thought that art may be something that wasn't possible to make a living out of. As much as it was something I wanted to do, it was always like my first choice to make something out of myself or to pursue. But I just had this idea, I suppose, that artists don't make money or you can't get anywhere. But I was so wrong to think that, and I think as soon as I realised that it's best just to run with what you want to do and run with your heart, kind of thing, where your heart is, which mine was with art, I just realised that it was the best option for me and makes me the happiest. I wouldn't want to do anything else, really. I would describe my art as something that I use as a tool to kind of empower people. It's something that evokes a lot of joy, but my paintings are done in a way where the brush marks aren't really seen. So it gives that idea that everything's been done digitally. It's very colourful, it's very queer, it represents people, I empower people, and it's ultimately a celebration. I've got quite a funny way of working in the sense that if I get a project or I have an idea, I'll sit down and do it straight away. I wouldn't say that I'm someone who does lots of sketches. I typically kind of, if I'm working on something, I kind of get the image in my head. It's almost like I think quite literally and visually. So I'll see kind of the end product and I'll make it. I'm the sort of person that if I start something, I want it done as soon as possible. And that's not because I'm like sick and tired, it's more just because I'm so into what I'm doing that nothing else matters. I kind of get a little bit obsessed with whatever I'm working on. I'd say the biggest challenges I've had, I suppose just balancing kind of my professional dreams and aspirations as a kind of professional artist and illustrator with the requirements of being a student. So in March 2018, it was around the time of International Women's Day. And I remember this is around the same time that I kind of adopted the style that I have now. I'd never ever exhibited before, like ever. I'd never had a show, never put my work out there in London. And I remember just seeing Creative Debuts had put out like a call out for a submission for International Women's Day exhibition called Empowerment. And I remember seeing it and making a painting, thinking, oh, you know, maybe it'd be cool to just apply to this. Never in a million years thought that I'd get it. Didn't even think that anyone would even look at my application. And they were like, we love it, it's amazing. And I would never forget it because it was the first time anyone had actually seen my work, and especially like the new kind of style that I'm working on. They gave me the first opportunity to have a platform to showcase my work. I couldn't believe that I was exhibiting my work in London, like that just blew my mind. For me, the support that I've had from Creative Debuts as an artist, I don't even know if I'd be able to fully do it justice in terms of how much Creative Debuts were the ones that found me as a student in London, just working away in my sort of student halls. I'd say that initial kind of belief, or I suppose faith in what I was capable of or what I am capable of and my potential, that initially was just the nicest thing and the most sort of wonderful thing to know that there's a platform and a collective out there that have so much faith in young creative people. I've done so much of them, from like the Anti-Art Fair to the Anti-Donald Trump exhibition to Empowerment, to working with Disney, to commissions that they've put me onto, to working with Adidas. So there's been a lot that they've done, a lot that they've believed that I could do. So I think, yeah, in terms of just kind of that faith, it's also being able to actually give me the opportunities that I don't think I would have had, not this early on anyway. So I'll never not be grateful for it. My goal is, I'm honestly so happy. Like everything that's happened to this day, I couldn't even express how over the moon and just completely lost for words I am. But I would just say, to be honest, just keep going. Callum always says to me, we're only getting started. And I feel that I've kind of channeled that. Like everything that I do, I think, yeah, this is great, but I'm gonna do better, I'm gonna do better. And I'm never not amazed at what comes my way, but I know that I am only just getting started and that there's so much that I can achieve and so much that I want to, and I know that I will. In 5 years' time, I would just like to be doing what I'm doing, but just bigger and better things, even though I don't right now see how that's even possible, if that makes sense, because as I said, I'm just so overjoyed with all that's happened so far, but I just want to keep on doing what I'm doing. If I can make a piece of work that someone can relate to as an individual, if one person can see my work and it makes them feel a little bit brighter, maybe that person is trans, or maybe they're confused about their gender or sexuality. And if they can see my paintings and see someone in my work who's maybe non-binary with green hair, or someone wearing a binder or whatever, and they can somehow relate to that, then that's me feeling like I've contributed a little bit. I think it's making artwork for me is just a way of giving back almost. I'm happy to be where I'm at and the kind of progress that I've made as an individual, and I'd like to think that, like, with this kind of found self-love and where I'm at within myself, I'd like to think that my work can somehow bring other people joy. So I think it's just about creating work that can kind of give people a bit of happiness or give people a bit of hope that there is a kind of other narrative or a more joyful perspective to being queer or being a person of colour, which maybe we don't see so much.